Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Wisdom in Christ podcast. As you guys know, my name is Dallin Anderson, and this is episode 9 of the Wisdom in Christ podcast. So today, who knows exactly what we're going to be talking about? We don't have any guest on today, so it's just us. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And let's get straight into it. So one of the first things that I wanted to talk about today is kind of this whole idea of doing things to be seen of men or doing things to be known by God or to know God. So basically, a lot of times people, when they think about wanting to do something right, wanting to do something good, a lot of people kind of want the glory, right? A lot of people want the fame, they want, this popularity, they want the influence, they want to be able to, they just basically want to be seen of men. And then there's the people that when they do things, their motivation is internal. So they're not thinking about, okay, well, I want to go be seen of men when I'm doing this thing. The reason I'm doing this thing is truly because I enjoy doing it. And also, I want to know God better, and I want Him to know me better in the sense that we grow in our connection, right, in our relationship. And as a result of that, then all of a sudden, you're a happier, better person. So your motive, your underlying motive, can change a lot. Are you doing this because you want to be seen of men, to be popular, right, to gain social prestige or whatever? Or are you doing this thing because you truly, truly want to know God? And I think that, when Jesus Christ said, "Let your light shine before men so that they can glorify the Father who is in heaven," right? Not you, not glorify you, but glorify God. So this kind of is the idea, the first idea I wanted to talk about in today's podcast. So yeah, this one gets real kind of juicy because if you really think about it, everybody in life does certain things to be seen of other people. And there's kind of the whole, okay, well, I'm going to do this thing because it's a joke. For example, maybe you're in a family setting and you make a joke, you crack a joke, and everybody laughs. And you did it because you wanted to be funny. And you enjoy having people laugh at your joke. Okay? That's not wrong. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is more along the lines of your motives behind your spiritual things in life, right? What you're choosing. For example, like, okay, maybe your work path. If you're choosing a work path and you're doing that work path and your primary goal is to be famous, or, your primary goal is to be cooler than other people, to have more than other people, then your motive is kind of to be seen of men, right? You want to gain social prestige. You want to be seen of men. Now, if your motive isn't that, right? If you don't have this side of you that's looking for social prestige, that's doing things just to be seen of men, if you're allowing yourself to do things to actually know God, well, what happens? A lot happens. A lot happens inside of you. Because when you're doing things to be seen of men, it really lacks substance. It's empty, right? That thing that you're doing is completely void of its power. It's empty. You're selling your soul for worldly gain, right? You're basically laying up treasures on earth and completely ignoring those heavenly treasures that you could be getting if you're doing it for the right reasons. So, once you start doing things for the right reasons, once you start doing things for God, okay, then all of a sudden, everything changes inside of you. Your relationship to those things change. Your relationship to prayer is different. If you're doing prayer because you just care about what people think of you, versus if you're saying a prayer and in that prayer you actually are truly experiencing divine communion with God, right? If you're truly experiencing that divine communion with God because you actually want to talk to Him, that's so much different than saying a prayer and because there's people around you, you choose what to say based on what somebody around you might think. And again, we're not superstitious or dogmatic about this, right? If you're saying a prayer and you say something because somebody's in the room, and my dad used to do this all the time, he'd make jokes in the prayers sometimes, and it was all just for fun. It wasn't like sacrilegious or, it wasn't irreverent or anything like that, but my dad would make jokes sometimes in the prayers, just little ones, nothing crazy. But yeah, again, it was to lighten the mood inside of the prayer. And when you are able to say a prayer, when you're able to have a prayer and you're able to not take it so seriously that if you're with your family, you can maybe throw a little joke in there. Yeah, to be seen by your family members. That's completely different than every single prayer. You choose everything that you're saying just because you want to gain sway with people. Okay? So a lot of people do everything that they do in life to be seen by other people. But truly, the most influential people, and really the most people that have the most authenticity and integrity, these are people that almost do nothing to be seen by other people, right? When they're doing something, they don't do it because of wanting to be seen by other people. Now, there's a couple ways to look at this. The first way to look at it is like this. If you're doing something to be seen by other people, for example, but your perspective is, okay, well, I need to reach a lot of people to accomplish my mission. Maybe I want to help people achieve this goal. Well, if you're helping people achieve a certain goal and you have your mind set on that goal, but you need to reach out to 100,000 people, right? You need to have that kind of influence to make it happen. That's not doing something to be seen of men. Okay? That would be stupid to think that. You're not doing something to be seen of men. Just because you need to reach 100,000 people, you're not seeking that 100,000 people because you have some type of sinful desire to have 100,000 people follow you. But maybe you have a goal to help a lot of people, and in order to do that, you need to help at least 100,000 people, so you actually do end up being seen by over 100,000 people because you choose to be, right? YouTube videos. A YouTube video can get over 100,000 views. You choose to make the YouTube video. And when you choose to make that YouTube video, all of a sudden, boom, you get 100,000 views, right? But just because you posted a YouTube video and you had a goal of helping 100,000 people doesn't mean that you wanted to be seen of men to get it for, right? Doesn't mean that you're doing that just for the social reason. Most of the time, the people that end up influencing 100,000 people or 1 million people, these are people that are not doing it for the social reason. They're doing it because they have a goal or they have a purpose. And because they're sticking to that purpose and sticking to that plan that they've created for themselves, and that plan and that purpose is a worthy plan and a worthy goal, this is why people end up doing these wonderful things and creating these wonderful things and helping millions of people, sometimes hundreds of millions of people, all through the process of being true to their goals, being authentic to their vision, true to themselves, true to what they believe in. And when they do that thing, they create amazing things. So the whole world has everything backwards, okay? Like the whole world has this whole idea that you try to outwardly look good so that somehow inwardly you can have some amazing life. And that's just not true. You know? If you really want to have an amazing life, set yourself a really good purpose, a really good goal. Set good values for yourself. Do things for the right reasons, for noble reasons, right? Don't just waste your time, waste your life. Set worthy goals, have worthy values, stick to those values, not just as some ideal, but as like something that you really live by, something that you really embody. And all of a sudden, boom, you've influenced all these people for the good, right in accordance with your plan, because you made something beautiful inside of you. You made a beautiful goal, a worthy ideal, and you went after it, and you achieved it. And in doing that, all these people experienced this true, authentic version of you, that was so refreshing and so inspiring that you influenced all these people for the better. But, most people think, okay, well, I want to influence all these people, and they don't start at the core. They don't go to what's important. What do you believe in? What do you want to do for the world? Because if you don't have values and you're just going through life without any values at all, and your value is, okay, what do people think of me? That's what you place value on. Well, all of a sudden, you're going to be doing a lot of really silly stuff, And you're going to do it just to be seen of men. You're going to do it for all the wrong reasons. You're going to buy that house just because you want to have a bigger house than your neighbor. Or you're going to, start some career path just because you know that career path is going to make you look good. Or you're going to post this kind of fake version of yourself, show this fake version of yourself to the world, because if you show this fake version of yourself to the world, all of a sudden, you know what happens? You look good. At least on the outside appearance, you look good. But inwardly, what's going on, right? So this is what it's really about, you guys. The Christian life starts from within. You can't try to create good things when the inside of you isn't good. Because everything is going to be flowing from what's inside of you out. So what do I mean by this? Well, Jesus Christ said, hey, look, right? Beware of false prophets. A good trees produce good fruit. Bad tree produces bad fruit. So you can't do things to look good. You can't try to look good to the world when inwardly you're not truly authentic. You don't have good values. You're not truly becoming the person that you want to be. You don't stand for anything. You don't have any good values. And so really, you're just kind of empty. Versus somebody that has a bunch of values and sticks to those values and stands by them, and inwardly there's something beautiful inside of them. And so they don't have to try to appear on the outside like some beautiful thing, right? They don't have to try to appear outwardly. They don't have to try to make things out to look like they're something that they're not. Because inside of them, there's something beautiful. And inside of all of us, there's something beautiful. But what ends up happening is a lot of people cover that thing up that's truly beautiful by all these fake masks, all these layers, false selves, to try to impress people, to be seen of men, to be seen of family, to be seen of friends. And as a result of them doing that, all of a sudden, inwardly, they feel sad or depressed or angry. But outwardly, they try to look beautiful. They try to look, right? They try to look like really pure and good. So yeah, this is what Jesus Christ said. He said, look, be aware of false prophets. And that's what a false prophet is. They do things to be seen of men, to get glory from the world. They do things to, for money, for fame, for just worldly things that are just empty, meaningless, that can never fill you. Versus somebody that is of God, that's connected to God, and he does things not to get glory of the world, but to glorify God, who gave him all things, who gives him all things. And these people inwardly, they have this beautiful, beautiful inward life. They're happy, they're peaceful, they're filled with joy, right? Because their true self is what's showing through. Because it's all the masks and all the fake stuff that makes it so you're not happy anymore. But when that true self is showing through, when your true self is shining through, right, inwardly, something is beautiful is happening because you're really connected to God. You're doing things out of pure devotion to him. Wow. Inwardly, that person has something beautiful going on. Everything they touch turns to gold. And I'm telling you right now, that kind of a person is unstoppable. Through highs, through lows, it doesn't matter what life throws at that kind of person. If inwardly, they have the Spirit of God working in them, working through them, right? Abundantly in them, that kind of a person is going to live a really wonderful life. And they won't have to try to appear on the outside to look good. They won't have to try to post crazy Instagram pictures, right? They might still post Instagram pictures, even a crazy one where they're having fun with their friends. But it's not for the wrong reasons. And these kind of people are truly fulfilled. These kind of people, they do things, and it doesn't matter if they make money doing that thing. It doesn't matter if they get famous doing that thing. Any kind of worldly sort of gain, right? Fame, money, anything that's like a worldly sort of gain, people will try to do these things. And if they're trying to do things to get those results, they just only want to get the worldly fame or only want to get the money, it's not going to work out in the same way, right? But these people that are doing it truly to be authentic, and they're not doing it for the money, it doesn't even matter if they make money or if they don't make money, because they're doing it for God. That's a whole different thing. And these are the kind of people that behind closed doors, they choose to do the right thing. When nobody's looking, when nobody's watching, these are the kind of people that choose to do the right thing. Why? Because they're doing it for God. They have values. They care about what's right and what's wrong. And not only do they care about what's right and what's wrong, but they want to deal justly. They want to be honest with themselves and others. And as a result of that, these people become wildly successful. Okay? Because it's so refreshing in a world full of people that do things to be seen of men, that do things to gain money. It's so refreshing when somebody comes around and does things for God. Where behind closed doors or out in the open, this person is doing it out of devotion for God. They're morally upright. They stay true to values, right? They're honest with themselves and others. They deal justly. They serve. They're kind. That's so refreshing. And so this is just something that I've been thinking a lot about, because we live in a world where, you guys, today's world probably needs to hear this message more than any other time in history, because the market is moving away. So even in a business kind of perspective, the market is moving away from this whole, you can just market really good and you're going to make a lot of money. That's just from a business perspective, okay? Like, the world is getting smarter. You can't just on the outside appear to look good, and then on the inside of your business or your company, it's like a total mess. You can't do that, right? The world is getting smarter. So, for example, products. If you're selling a product, it used to be that if you had really good marketing, your product wouldn't have to be that good. But as time has gone on, your product has to be really good now, and you really don't need that much marketing, because word of mouth is so powerful in today's world. It's also true for integrity, doing things for the right reason, right? Not to be seen of men, but truly doing something out of devotion to God and to be true to yourself. In a world where that's so rare, actually, if you are that person, you are way ahead of the curve, because the world's getting smarter, and that's what the world wants. The world wants real, true, genuine, sincere, morally upright people that do the right thing behind closed doors, right? When nobody's looking, or when they're tempted, where they could maybe make a business choice where if they do just this one little thing, they'll make a lot more money, but it's kind of shady, but they choose to do the right thing. The world wants those kinds of people. You know? Those are the kinds of people that are refreshing. That's good marketing. Bad marketing is to be like the crowd. All these people in the world that are just doing things to be seen of men, that are just acting crazy to get the most views, that are just doing whatever to get popular, that just want to do it for worldly fame, right? Just to be popular, to be cool, whatever. All that just cringy, worldly stuff. If you're doing opposite of that, if you're doing things to truly out of devotion to God, if you have a truly good, higher purpose and set of values, right, that you're working towards, and you're doing it for that reason, you're being super authentic, super sincere. You don't do anything for the views, for the fame, for the money. You do it for devotion to God. You're going to stand out. Like, you know the difference between those kinds of two people? It's like oil and water, right? Water is going to completely separate from oil. That's exactly the difference between somebody that does things out of pure and true devotion towards God and their purpose, their higher mission and purpose, and somebody that does something to be seen of men, to be popular, or for money. The difference between those two people is like water and oil. They're just going to separate. They are so drastically different. They can't mix. So yeah, it's just something I've been thinking a lot about today. I really, really, really believe that as a culture, as a world, if we were to focus more on devotion, right, to get to know God better, and also to set like a good purpose, set a good ideal and purpose, you know, have a goal, a purpose, a set of values. If people would do that and then live for that, live for their values, live for their mission, for their goal, and to have it be a good goal, and to have God be the most important thing in their lives, wow, we would live in a beautiful world if people would change that. And the people that are abiding by that and doing things for the right reason, they are standing out so much right now. And those people are the ones that have the real influence. Because all these other people that you think have influence, just because they could have a bunch of followers, a bunch of subscribers. But if they're not the kind of person that's truly honest and sincere and genuine and like really a good person, morally upright kind of person, that person doesn't have true influence. It's empty influence. It's kind of a fake, sort of worldly, empty influence. But the people that are really going to do good, these are the kind of people that actually are honest. These people have real influence with other people. And I know that our world is thirsty and hungry for that kind of a person. We need more people that are honest, sincere, and that do things out of true, sincere, and honest devotion to God. So yeah, it's kind of late. So it's been like 2 weeks since I did a podcast. Actually, so last week I didn't do a podcast, basically. If I wouldn't have done a podcast this week, then it would have been 2 weeks of no podcasts next week, right? So I did do a podcast, so there was only 1 week without a podcast. Hope that makes sense. There was only 1 week that we missed the podcast. That was last week. And today we didn't have a guest. I did have a guest earlier, but it didn't work out. I just didn't get the meeting set up right. But yeah. So this is the episode for today. Kind of chill. It's late at night right now. And I'm not going to record like an hour like we normally do. But yeah, don't do things to be seen of men, you guys. Set a good goal, a good mission, have a set of values, and do things out of devotion to God and devotion to your mission. Okay? And be authentic to those things. Be honest with yourself and others. And do the right thing, the morally correct thing. Don't cut corners. Don't do something just because you're going to get popular or famous or make a bunch of money. Do it if it's the right thing to do. If it's in alignment with your mission statement, your goals, and if God approves of it, if it's something that God wants you to do. Because if you're right with God, you're going to be right with everything else. And yeah, so I love and appreciate every single one of you. And I look forward to seeing you guys in future episodes. And as always, peace be unto you.